Today I'm continuing my series on the temple cleansing as reported in John's Gospel, that early temple cleansing, by talking about another coincidence between John's account of an early temple cleansing on the one hand and some information that we find in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, on the other hand. Now, as you'll recall, John says that Jesus cleansed the temple early in his ministry. The Synoptic Gospels say that he cleansed the temple late. Some scholars have said that this is a contradiction and have implied or stated that John moved that he actually changed the time. It really happened late, but their claim is that he makes it happen early in his gospel, contrary to fact. I've been going through evidence against this, and I've talked about the fact that there's nothing improbable about an early temple cleansing as reported in the Gospel of John. There are also little subtle dovetailings with the Synoptic Gospels that actually support it, and I talked about one of those in my previous video. Today I want to talk about some evidence in the Synoptic Gospels of very early tension between Jesus and the Jerusalem religious leadership. But there's no explanation for such immediate, very early tension in the Synoptics. What is that evidence? Well, let's start with the account that's given in Mark. I believe it's in all three of the Synoptic Gospels, of Jesus' healing of a paralytic man who is let down through the roof. You may remember the story, and Jesus turns to him and he says, "Your sins are forgiven." Now they immediately jump on this. There are these teachers of the law standing around, and they immediately say, that's blasphemous. Who can forgive sins but God? And I think they rightly perceive that this is a claim to be God, although it's an indirect one, and to be able to forgive sins. Well, Jesus doubles down. He says that you may know that the Son of Man has power on earth to forgive sins. Rise up and walk. And the man does rise up and walk, and everyone is amazed. Mark doesn't mention it, but Luke does mention the fact that some of these were from as far away as Jerusalem. Some of these who were witnessing this, some of these teachers of the law, they had come from Galilee and Judea and all the way from Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem's not just a little step away. It's a good journey. What were they doing there? Why were they there? And they already seem pretty hostile. They jump right on Jesus' words. Your sins are forgiven you. Hey, who can forgive sins but God alone? Now, I think they were interpreting it rightly, but they also seem not to have exactly a neutral attitude. Let's put it that way. Why are they so hostile? Moreover, we find that they are not among the ones who seem to be impressed by his healing. They don't seem to change their minds. If it's the same ones from Jerusalem in Mark 3, and if not, we might wonder why people were sent again from Jerusalem. In Mark 3:22, it talks about scribes who were sent down from Jerusalem. That word down is because of the way that the land lies. It's actually north. But Jesus has been casting out demons. And it says that these scribes that were sent down from Jerusalem said, he's possessed by a demon. And he casts out demons by the chief of demons. I mean, casting out demons was considered to be a good thing at the time. There were Jewish exorcists as well. It's not like it was something that was regarded as bad. So why are they immediately responding to this good act of Jesus by attributing it to demons and by calling him demon-possessed, by insulting him? This is the point that New Testament scholar Alan Chapple notes, that they already just seem very hostilely inclined, even though they've come all the way from Jerusalem. Why are they coming all the way from Jerusalem with this immediate intent to interpret everything against Jesus and to even call him demon-possessed? Now, you could argue that they had come originally north, perhaps alerted by John the Baptist saying that Jesus was the one who was to come, and then that they saw him claiming to forgive sins in Mark 2, and that was what made them hostile toward him. But I don't think that's a sufficient explanation, especially since, A, they seem to be very prepared to jump on his words even in Mark 2, and B, they don't seem to have been open to changing their mind when he heals the paralytic. Why are they so closed-minded? Why does even a healing just make them go out and try to find some other way to explain Jesus' good deeds? Why is that? And that's what we find again in Mark 3, that they're trying to find a hostile way to explain his good deeds. He's demon-possessed, and he's casting out demons by the prince of demons. I would argue, as Chapple does, that there is evidence here of some prior clash, some prior problem between them. But you can't find that in any of the Synoptic Gospels. There is no clash between Jesus and the Jerusalem religious leadership that early in his ministry, but there is hostility between Jesus and these scribes sent from the religious leadership as far north as Galilee. John's report of an early temple cleansing fits this very well. John reports Jesus saying, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of merchandise," and casting things out and driving out the oxen with a whip. And then they come to him with what sounds like a more fair question. Show us a sign of your authority to do these things. And he answers in a way that's hardly calculated to calm them down. It's cryptic, and it does not acknowledge their right to demand any sign of his authority. He says, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." That's the saying that we discussed in the previous video. But we can also see how that fits in here, that they are very annoyed with him, that they consider him to be at least an upstart and a troublemaker. And so they send hostile inquirers north to Galilee to look into this guy, this troublemaker, who made this disturbance in the temple and answered us so cheekily when we asked for his authority. And then sure enough, they find him claiming to forgive sins, and then they find him casting out demons, and they say, well, he must be casting out demons by the power of the demons. So they're getting more and more determined against him. The early temple cleansing in John explains an initial clash that they had that helped to kick this off. This is a cumulative case, and it fits together with the fact that actually we have no reason to question John's report in the first place. But we also find these subtle confirmations from the Synoptic Gospels. Come back next time when I'll be talking about a reference to a specific number of years, 46 years, in the dialogue that Jesus has with the religious leaders in the report of the temple cleansing in the Gospel of John. Thanks for watching.